Marshall Freed was born on December 18th, 1936 in Omaha, Nebraska at the Methodist Hospital.
Tell me about your parents, Marshall.
Oh, my dad was Leo Freed. He was an attorney in Omaha. We lived at 5802 Pacific Street in Omaha. My mother was Sadie Freed, formerly Sadie Walk. And her parents were Lewis Walk and Eddie Walk. And Lewis Walk, they lived on 33rd Street, and he had a tailor shop in North Omaha. And my dad's mother was Eddie Freed. Her husband, my grandfather, I never met. I think he passed away over in Germany before they came here. She came over here with 4 kids, 2 girls and 2 boys in about 1908, and had a grocery store in South Omaha. And
What were her siblings' names?
Leo, my dad, and Oscar, his brother, and Marion, his sister, and Rose, his sister.
And did Marion and Rose marry?
Yes.
What were their names, married names?
Let's see, Rose was Block, Rose Block, and Marion was, oh my gosh, her husband's name was Ralph, and she had 2 or 3 kids. Goldberg, Marion Goldberg, and
Your mother had how many siblings?
my mother had, she had twin sisters, and they were Gloria and Evelyn, and then she had 2 other sisters, my mother, Sadie, and then she had Seal, and then she had 2 brothers. She had Sammy and Nate, and Seal died when she was relatively young, I think in her 20s someplace. And my Aunt Evelyn lives here in Omaha, and my Aunt Gloria lives in Chicago. And Nate and Sammy have both passed away.
Did they live here in Omaha?
Sammy lived here in Omaha for quite a while and then moved to Youngstown, Ohio. And Nate lived here for a while and then moved to Canada.
So all in all, you had quite a family, didn't you? A large family.
Yeah, I had a lot of aunts and uncles and my grandparents and all. Yeah.
Tell me about your mother and dad, about them individually. Tell me, what was your dad like?
Oh, my dad, he was graduated from Creighton, and he was played in a lot of the sports there and everything, and probably hoped that I would, but I never did. And he was an attorney here in Omaha for quite a few years, and decided he didn't like being an attorney anymore, and we moved to Arkansas for a while, and he had a motel down there, which didn't do very good. And in between, his sister Marion and her husband had moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and they'd started a dry goods store, and they told him that he should come out there and start a business like that, and we did. We all moved to Albuquerque, and I think it was around 1951 or 2, and he started a dry goods business out there, and Albuquerque at that time was just really starting to grow, and it worked out quite well.
So you had to disrupt your education and
Yeah, I was going to Washington grade school here, and we moved out there, and they had and I started by going to junior high out there and then senior high.
did you stay there very long?
Yeah, well, after I graduated high school, I went into the Navy for 4 years. So, but my folks lived out there for quite a while. My dad passed away there. My mother actually moved back to Omaha later on.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have a brother, Arnold, who lives out in California, who's married and has had a boy and a girl. And the boy is married, the girl is not. So my niece and nephew are out there, and actually his son just had another birth in their family. They have 3 boys now.
Now tell me about your mother.
My My mother, well, my dad and my mother both played a lot of bridge, and they'd go out in the evenings and play bridge, and people would come over and they'd play bridge there. That was their big recreational activity. And my mother didn't even learn to drive for many, many years. So,
Were you very close with your grandparents? You said your father's father died young.
yeah, I never met him. He didn't come over when they came over from Germany. So, I think he was in a hospital over there or something. I never did really know too much about that. But yes, we used to see. I used to go visit my grandmother down at her grocery store, and then we used to go over to my other grandmother and grandfather. We used to go over to the house and eat dinner over there, you know, and everything. And oh yeah, we had real nice gatherings all the time.
Where was the grocery store located?
It was right on 24th Street by the South Omaha Bridge. And I remember going there, and my grandmother there made the best bread soup. That she'd always have a nice big bowl for me when I came in there, and it was good. And everybody knew her. And she spoke 4 or 5 different languages. And she'd really from a little tiny place grocery store, she really built that into a good way to support her and the kids. And shoot, my dad went to college, his brother went to college, the girls went to business school. You know, she did all kinds of things for them.
Do you remember where the store was? Did you visit it? And what was the name of the store?
Freed's Grocery. Freed's Grocery, and it was, I can't remember the exact address of it, but it was in a real busy area right down there, right near the South Omaha Bridge.
And you got to go there quite often.
Oh, yeah.
To help out a little bit, or just
I
eat?
never really helped out. I think I just would visit with my grandmother and everything, and we'd go visit her for a while, and I don't think I ever really helped out in the grocery store or anything, but there was a lot of different ethnic groups that lived in South Omaha and everything, and she could speak all their different languages and everything. So.
And how about your grandparents on your mother's side?
Yeah, my grandfather had diabetes, and I used to give him when I was quite small. I used to give him his shots for that, and he had eventually he retired from his tailor shop and everything, and they lived at home. He passed away, and my grandmother went into it was the Dr. Share home at that time. She went into the Dr. Share home and lived there for a while, and then she passed away.
But you were very close with your
Oh
grandparents.
yeah, very close. And
What
all
can-
my aunts and uncles and everything there too. So.
Were you close with all the family?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of family gatherings.
Yeah, we used to get together before they started moving to different places and everything. We used to get together quite a bit and see them.
How about now? A lot of cousins.
Yeah. I just talk to them now and then and everything. I've got a cousin that lives in Santa Fe, and I've got some cousins that I haven't seen in ages that live in Albuquerque, and then I've got a cousin that lives in Youngstown, and don't get to see him very often anymore.
You said that you started out at Washington School here in Omaha.
Right.
And from there, where did you go? Was this after you moved to Albuquerque?
Yeah, first we moved to first we moved to Fort Smith, Arkansas. That's where we had the motel and everything, and I went to school there. We lived out a ways from town because we had the motel out a ways from town, and they used to bus us back and forth into town, and we lived there. It seems to me it was only a couple of years, but maybe it was longer than that. But that was Arkansas. It was fun there. It was pretty racially segregated, but it was pretty nice then.
What memories do you have of the school there?
I can't even remember the school. I can't remember the school, but I know that I learned to hunt and fish and everything around there too, because we lived out in the country. We had a couple of acres, and I could go out there hunting, and there was creeks that ran through there, and I could go fishing, and me and my brother used to go out and do all kinds of stuff out there, trap different animals and everything.
Did you help out in the motel?
Uh, Probably helped clean the places up a little bit after people had stayed there and everything. I think we both went and helped do that somewhat. We also had a grocery store there too, and a gas station. So we pumped gas there too and everything. Most people, I think it was one of those ones that set up they could actually pump it themselves if they wanted to. So.
And from there, that's when you moved to Albuquerque?
We came back here and stayed here for probably about a year or so. And I went to Henry Yates School, and then from there we moved out to Albuquerque.
What kind of work was your dad doing when you came back to Omaha?
I'm not sure whether he was doing that much. I think he was looking around for something to do for a while, and finally decided to go out to Albuquerque and see what it was like, and he really liked it, and so we all moved out to Albuquerque.
And you say he was in the dry goods business there?
Yeah, he was in the dry goods business, right. We had a dry goods store on Manal Boulevard, and I used to go down there and help out. My mother helped out there all the time, so it was a little strip mall, and Albuquerque was made up of a lot of those at the time.
And you were still in school though at that time?
Yeah, I went to, started in junior high and then went to senior high out there, went to Highland High School in Albuquerque and graduated from Highland High School before I went into the Navy.
Right after graduation, is that when you went into the
Yep.
Navy? What year was that?
Must have been about 1951, I think, somewhere around there, because I got out of the Navy in 1955. So,
Then what happened with your life?
I think I stayed out in. I got out of the Navy. I was in California, and I stayed out in California, I think, for a while, and then I had a job out there, but I didn't like it. And I actually came back here and worked here in Omaha for a while. I worked for my uncle had Novak Cadillac, and I worked up there at Novak Cadillac for a while, and then eventually I went back to California, and then came again back here.
What kind of work did you do at Novak Cadillac?
Selling used cars.
Used car salesman.
Yep, a used car salesman, right.
And that probably didn't appeal to you.
That was all right at the time, but I did want to change, and after I was there for a while, I got interviewed at a stockbroker place, and they hired me and sent me to school, and I got a stockbroker license, and I've been basically a stock financial assistant or stockbroker ever since, really.
You never went back to school though after high school?
No, I went to all of the schools, all of the brokerage schools and everything. Actually, they sent me to New York for brokerage school, which was a 10-week school back there, and it was pretty intensive. So that's where I learned the business really pretty good.
And when did you meet Norma?
When about 1964, I think, or 65. Here in Omaha. She and a girlfriend she's from London, and she and a girlfriend from London were coming through here, and one of my cousins fixed us up on a blind date.
Did this cousin know her?
Yeah. She had met her just while she was here. They were here in Omaha for, I think, a few weeks, and she had met her. Well, they had some relatives here, and she had met her, and she called me up and says, I've got this wonderful girl I want to fix you up with. I want you to go out with her and everything. So yeah.
And it worked out,
Worked
I
out
take
quite
it.
well, yes.
Then did she go back home at that point?
No, they went on out to California, and I got my my brother together, and when I went on vacation, I picked up my brother he was living in Albuquerque, and I picked him up, and we went out to California. We visited Norma out there, and she had another girl that was from London with her, and we hung around with them for a while out there in California. Yeah.
And when did you get engaged?
They came back through here, and I think that's when we got engaged. When they came back through on the way back heading back to London, and we were married over in London.
That had to be quite an experience.
Yeah, it was. My dad and mother went, and my brother, and yeah, we had a great time over there.
Tell me about that.
Oh man, that's. Well, they have quite a ceremony when they have weddings over there. We had long coats on, and all of that, and it was it was really, really nice. They had a big service they had there, and they had master of ceremonies that announced things, and and everybody made speeches. My dad made a speech. Her father made a speech. You know, that was quite a wedding ceremony over in England.
Tell me a little bit about Norma's parents.
Her dad drove a cab, had his own cab, and really great guy with lots of jokes and a lot of, he's just a lot of fun, or really a lot of fun, and her mother too. And we had a wedding anniversary over here, and I snuck them over here for, well, actually it was Norma's birthday, and snuck them over here for her, and she didn't know it. And we had a big party over here too for her birthday.
That had to be very nice.
Oh yeah, it was.
Have you been able to go back over the years to see her
Uh,
family?
let's see, she has. She's been over here, but her family's passed away now. And we went. Let's see. I'm trying to think if we went back there. If I've been back there again or not. I can't remember being back there again. I'm not sure that after we got married and everything came over here that I went back. Norma did though. She went back. I think at least a couple of times.
Does she have brothers and sisters?
No brothers or sisters. No, she's just the only child.
Only child. So after you got back, you were already established in the stockbroker
Yeah.
industry. Okay, then when did your children come along?
Oh, well, let's see. First was our daughter Lisa, and then a little bit later our son Dan came along, and then we had that, and that was it. We had a nice family, and that we were real happy with that. So.
Do you remember Jewish holidays at home growing up?
Yeah, well, we used to go to the services and everything, and still do on the holidays, and we always celebrated Hanukkah and everything, and lit all the candles here. Yeah.
I'd like to hear a little more about your mother.
My mother, oh, she was just a wonderful person, and she was well, she's I don't know what to really say much more about her.
Was she a pretty good cook?
Oh, she was a great cook. She was a great cook, and she knew everybody, and everybody knew her in Omaha. And she went out when she was here, when she came back here and was living here and everything. She had an apartment here when she moved back here from Albuquerque, and she went out and played a lot of cards and played mahjong and all, you know. She just had a big group of friends here.
Now that you've been in this stock brokerage business for how long, Marshall?
Actually started in 1970, I think. So.
And who were you working with when you first got into it?
That was a firm that had started in California and had moved east. Most of them start east and move west, but this one had started out there. And darn, I can't even think of their name now, but they merged with here in Omaha. It was DuPont Gloriforgan. They merged with them. They merged with them actually all over the country, and it didn't work out. And our office here in Omaha was bought out by a Kansas City company, B.C. Christopher, which was actually a commodities firm. And they later sold out to Fonstock and Company, which then later changed their name to Oppenheimer and Company, and that's who I work for now, Oppenheimer and Company. I stayed with the same company through most all of it, but the names kept changing on me.
When the names changed, did the company change a little bit too? Or?
Yeah, it did. They had different management and everything, and it did change. It kept getting bigger and bigger and everything too. So.
But it's been an interesting experience, hasn't it?
Very interesting. Yeah.
And you've seen the ups and downs in the
I've
market.
seen the ups and downs. Not quite like this one that we're going through right now, but ups and downs. This one's, I think, worse than most of them that I've seen in the past anyway. But
It must really affect your business when you have these economic downturns.
oh, it does. It does. Business everybody gets scared and nobody wants to do anything, and which probably means it's a good time to be doing something. So, and they have to change their investment strategies and everything along with what's going on. So,
Marshall, was it difficult for Norma to get acclimated to living in Omaha?
oh, I think at first it was real difficult. Yeah, because she had to find all new friends and everything. She didn't really know anybody here. So I think it was really hard for her at first. She had a big group of friends over there in London, and it's a whole different atmosphere and everything there, really. And it was, I think at first it was real hard. But she fit in real good, and she made friends real easily, and so she's got a tremendous amount of friends right here and everything too.
And what kind of work did she do when you first got married?
Gee, the first thing that I can really remember her doing, and I'm sure there was something before that too, but she worked for a public speaker, and she set up appointments for him and kept track of where he was going, and and where he was at the time, because he traveled all around, and she pretty much took care of his office for him and everything while he was gone.
What did she have to do about citizenship?
Oh, she ended up going to the course and took the test and everything and passed it, and got to be a U.S. citizen. She didn't have too much trouble with that.
So by getting married, that didn't automatically make her a citizen?
No, she had to. Eventually, she had to take the test and the whole bit, and she did, and she got right through that.
Other than just working, what have you guys done during your lifetime together? Special things or going places?
Well, we found out that we really liked Vail, not for skiing, but Vail, Colorado, but for in the summertime. So we've taken trips out there from when the kids were little tiny. We've went out there in the summer and spent a few days out there each summer and everything, and have had really a great time, and we still do. And we still go out there at least once a year and everything, and spend some time out there and have really a great time.
No skiing, though?
No, we never. When we went on our honeymoon and everything, we went to Switzerland and we skied and took lessons over there and everything. But I don't think either one of us ever turned into a great skier.
During the years, you said you did go back to London, or at least Norma did,
Yeah.
to visit family and so on. Have you been back recently?
No, I haven't, but she has. She was back there a few years ago and everything. So
Does she still have some family there?
yes, she's got some cousins and everything there that live there, right? And she's got some friends and everything that she still corresponds with and talks to and all that. They've come over here. They've been in Omaha. Some of her friends have been in Omaha. They usually come and stay in Florida in the winter, and they're down in Florida, I think, right now. And she usually calls them and talks to them when they're there.
Of your mother and father's family, their brothers and sisters, are there many left?
No, not too many. My two aunts from my mother's side are here. One lives in Omaha, one lives in Chicago, and there's nobody on my father's side. I mean, as far as his brothers and sisters, they're all gone. Brother and sisters, yeah, they're all gone now.
What's the normal day like for you in your business today?
Oh, well, I've got a good thing. I work out of my house, so I get up in the morning and I go from one room to the other and start up the computer and everything and get it all ready to go, and then start doing phone calls during the day and answering phone calls. And I send out a few things and everything now and then too, so do some mailings.
It's a lot nicer working out of your own home than it is
Oh.
going into an office, isn't it?
It's great working out of the home and everything. I've got people, I'm a satellite office of the Kansas City office, and so I've got people down there that help me with things that I need to have done down there, like sending out money from the accounts or keeping my accounts up to date and all that, and we email back and forth. It's the way we basically keep in touch.
And I think that seems to be the trend anymore, doesn't? Companies would rather have you work out of your own home than to maintain an office.
It's a lot cheaper for them and everything. It's a lot easier for them, and they know where I'm at, and they can get a hold of me basically anytime they want to. So it's pretty easy. And they send somebody up here about once a year to go through everything and make sure everything's going along all right. So at least once, sometimes twice.
And it means you don't have to put a shirt and a tie on and a suit every day either.
No, just you can dress any way you want, really. Once in a while, I have a client that'll come over or something. Very, very seldom.
What's going on in your life today, other than working and normal working?
Oh, keeping track of my kids and getting together. My son took me on a birthday present last August out to California to see a huge big car show out there, and we stayed with my brother and his wife while we were out there. And that's
Is he into cars or are you into cars?
well, we both were. For when we were kids, we were both into cars pretty good. I had a 60 Corvette that I bought new in 60. I had, when I was going to high school and everything, I had a 40 Ford Coupe, and so I actually went through 2 or 3 of those. But yeah, we both kept up on the car front and everything, and he still works on cars out in California and redoes them. And I think he's got about 3 or 4 cars right now. So
Tell me, what professions did your children go off into?
my daughter is an attorney, and she basically works for herself back there in Riston, Virginia. And my son works for West Corporation here in Omaha, and he lives here in Omaha. He's married, and they work with insurance companies on hospital bills and all that and everything. It's sort of a complicated business he's in, but he travels a lot. He's traveling just about every week. He's back visiting some big companies and talks to them and everything about the different things that they do and all of that too.
And your daughter, is she married?
Yes, she's married. No children there. My son, his wife already had a daughter, so they have a daughter.
So you have one granddaughter.
Yes.
And do they get together often? Do your son and daughter get back to Omaha to visit?
Yes, she was just in here with her husband not too long ago, and we all got together. We all went out to dinner for a couple of nights, and yeah, we had a good time. And we've also all of us together have spent time in Vail together too. They've come in at the same time we have, and we've the last trip we took there, actually it was a trip before that. We picked up my daughter and her husband at the Denver airport on the way up to Vail, and then took them up, and we all spent time. My son and his wife, daughter, drove in up there, and we had a great time. And
what does the future look like? Can you keep doing your work as long as you want?
I don't know. It's tough right now, and they're making a lot of changes in our industry and business and everything. It's hard to say what's going to happen in the next few years. That's for sure.
But the product doesn't really change, does it?
The products change, the different products change, but the basic business doesn't change too much. But how it's directed and all of that, and the different package products that they have and everything do change. They're changing all the time. I'm sure they're changing a lot more right now than they have in the past too.
Does the company provide a lot of education for you as things move along?
They do, and they have a lot of meetings down there in Kansas City. I haven't been to any lately, but I've been down there before. But they do, and they send us, they send us all of the stuff, and we can listen in on conference calls and everything all the time too, so we can get our education through that.
Marshall, what are your memories of that little grocery store that your grandmother had?
Well, it wasn't very big, but it was just packed with merchandise. I mean, and I think probably it was open most of the time and everything, and she and the children lived upstairs. And so there was not a lot of living space upstairs either. And she used to keep like a German Shepherd or pretty good sized dogs just for protection. And I remember way back one time somebody beat up one of the dogs real bad, and it actually attacked her when she came. It didn't and bit her arm pretty good and everything. She had some scars on that arm for forever on that. But she spoke a bunch of different languages, and she could talk to about anybody that came in that store, and it was, and she always had, and when they wanted something and she didn't have it, she'd go out and make sure that she did have it next time they came by. So she made the greatest breadcrumb soup ever. She always used to have a big bowl for me when I came there. And
Do you remember her very well?
she was just a little tiny, and it's been a long time now, but eventually she sold the store and everything, and my dad got her a house that she could live in, and she lived in the house by herself basically all the time till she passed away, which has been a long time ago.
This was after all the children had gone off on their own.
Oh yeah, she put them through school and everything. My dad went to Creighton Law School. His brother Oscar was an engineer who died young, and the girls both went to business schools. So she really from nothing. I think she came over with like $100. She turned that grocery store, she rented it, and she figured out what to stock, how to stock it, and the whole bit by herself. She did everything by herself.
What brought her to Omaha?
She had a cousin or a relative here. His name was Fisher, and that's what brought her to Omaha. And he told her, she should come here, and he may have helped her a little bit too. I don't really know, but he may well have helped her some too here.
But no family here.
No, not really. No, it was some kind of a relative. So
All the children were born in Europe then?
yeah. She came over with all of them there.
They must have been pretty young when they got here, weren't
Yeah.
they?
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, the boys were older. The girls were just. I'd like to close by saying that it's been wonderful having a wife like Norma, and I love her very much, and I love my son and my daughter, and I'm glad that they're both having happy lives now and everything, and that we are, and I wish them well into the future.